In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern, talking about many different storms happening across the nation as activity is on the uprise overall through the next couple of weeks. We also have some tropical concerns now being indicated by the National Hurricane Center, so we will dive into that, among multiple cooldowns that we do see on the way that will bring an early very cold fall-like pattern here for the beginning of September timeframe. Very exciting stuff for a lot of you fall time lovers, which I know there's many of you. Before we dive into all of that, be sure to check out Prestige Weather in the top right corner of your screen, description, and the pinned comment down below. And if you are going to purchase it, be sure to use discount code DIRECT for 99 cents on your first month. It's only 99 cents. For $1, you can try it out today. So many of you have been so happy with that service, where we do early access to all of these videos on screen here, among other awesome features that are on the way very soon. Features that I have never seen in any other weather community. You guys are absolutely love it. If you like anything to do with the weather, it's going to be highly educational, very fun, and very informative, so be sure to check it out today. Let's dive into things and take a look here at the upcoming pattern, and we're going to do something interesting today. I don't know why I've never really done this, but we're going to look at the European model and the GFS model, cross compare them. I guess we have done that before, but I should do it more often because it's important to see what every model is showing for the upcoming pattern, not just one at a time, which I try to keep it short. We're going to do that today as well, but this is going to be a little information heavy, I guess, so we're going to try to more glance at it than really dive into every little micro detail. Let's take a look at this evening, first things first, and by this evening we do actually see that uptick in activity already taking place. Starting in the northwest, where really they haven't been lacking for activity for the most part. There is some snowfall across the northern Rockies up there in Canada. We do see for a lot of the Cascades, even down maybe into Washington a little bit, seeing some flakes at the highest elevations. We do see across the upper Midwest into the Four Corner states and South Central states, there is a pocket of storms here, especially the upper Midwest. But again, the South Central seeing some storms as well. We do see across the Southeast some tropical downpours will be possible. We've been talking about this for multiple days now. And then for Eastern Canada, there is showers and thunderstorms all around for all of you guys later on this evening. Now, as we reach towards tomorrow afternoon on Wednesday, August 28th, what we're seeing here is some pretty major storms across some of the western regions of Canada down through Montana and Wyoming. We do see across the Midwest into the Ohio Valley and Northeast here, we are seeing quite a bit of showers and thunderstorms around as well. And then again, these tropical downpours are going to be of concern to say the least, as we see an active area of tropical thunderstorms happening in here, not to be confused with an actual tropical storm, but really just tropical downpours all around the Caribbean, the Gulf, and along that Gulf Coast of the United States, as well as some of Central America dealing with those. Now, as we take a look here past all of this on Thursday, August 29th, what we see is a low pressure system here in central Canada with a cold front swinging underneath for the plains. So we do see cooler air moving in behind all of this, as it tends to do. So we're seeing something along these lines. Some warmer, more humid air racing out ahead of that cold front, which we also see very frequently from time to time. And this is a particular feature that is bringing thunderstorms across a lot of your south central, southeast, Ohio Valley, and mid-Atlantic areas. But really the main event here is going to be this cold front, where we will be watching for severe weather activity. Anytime you have this warmer, humid air rushing northward here across the central states with that colder, drier air hitting it from the side, you're really going to want to watch for instability and severe weather in between these areas, which we certainly see on screen here. So again, Thursday, the 29th, we're especially watching. But even in through Friday, we see a lot of activity due to all of this. This low has strengthened significantly south of the Hudson Bay, down to a 985 millibar low pressure center, which is quite strong. Cold front swinging out ahead and underneath of this low, bringing thunderstorms from the south central states through into the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, even Eastern Canada, areas like Toronto and areas nearby Toronto, dealing with these thunderstorms and showers due to this very strong cold front. And again, we still have this kind of rush of moisture up the East Coast, bringing some tropical type thunderstorms to these areas. Now, again, we will be watching, especially once we reach kind of beyond 5 days, for any sort of tropical activity in the Gulf or off the southeast, as this will be a possibility at any point here. Saturday on the 31st, what we see is this cold front is now located kind of around the east coast as we have thunderstorms and showers up and down this area, the Appalachian Mountain Range up into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. All of these areas are dealing with quite a bit of storminess due to this instability. We're also seeing quite a bit of cooler air, especially when compared to what we're dealing with now, moving into these areas behind this cold front. So expect drier and colder air to move in, much like what we saw just a week or two ago. Now, South Central dealing with quite a bit of storminess, still tropical downpours for the Gulf Coast and Southeast, so that is definitely a factor here. Let's take this towards Sunday. As you hear my dog sneezing underneath me, she tends to hang out in the office here with me as I make these videos, so I'm always petting her and, you know, she's hanging out. We do see that across the South Central into the Southeast, so really the South in general, we're seeing a lot of thunderstorms for these areas. Many thunderstorms across the South here. Jet stream overall is doing a ridge in the west, trough in the east, so we're seeing this cooler air moving in to the east while this warm air is surging out west, and this is a common pattern. If you watch our videos a lot, you would know this. And then underneath that cold front, we're still dealing with a huge surge in storms compared to what we've been seeing. Monday, September 2nd, we're still left with quite a bit of cooler air here in the east. Something like this is your pattern. So again, huge ridge out west, much drier as well as high pressure is kind of taken hold. We see some instability here to the south overall, south central, southeast. And then for the northeast and mid-Atlantic, there is a passing shower or two to accompany those cool conditions. As we reach towards Tuesday here on September 3rd, again, the deeper south and southeast areas is going to be where the main concern for thunderstorms lies. Wednesday on the 4th here, we see the southeast is really picking up in activity here. Lots and lots of rainfall for these areas as we're seeing cooler air really taking hold. Let's take it a step further towards Thursday on the 5th, and we do see some potential for tropical activity off the mid-Atlantic coast. Definitely going to be something that we're watching along this activity. The jet stream does support this. Pretty much everything supports this, so I find this very plausible, and it's something that we're going to be watching very closely. And really, underneath all of this, we see a lot of storminess from Mexico up through Texas, the Gulf Coast, into the southeast coast, and then eventually to this tropical system. There's a huge freight train of activity there. Still in a ridge in the west, trough in the east pattern, to say the least. Now, for the GFS model, let's take a look at this. As we keep going, I want to just take us through the pattern here and see if we see anything different. There's that kind of northern Rockies snowfall, definitely way more prominent here on the GFS model for the day, today into tomorrow, and even beyond a little bit. We see that cold front come through. Nothing really different here on this model yet. I'll take us to beyond hours 240 because what we see is one thing, that East Coast tropical system, we see that develop here around September 8th. That's actually a separate system, so perhaps more than one of those. Some storms happening across the Midwest and Plains is definitely something I'm looking at. And really, we end up with a pretty interesting pattern. Jet stream doing something along these lines. So cooler air still the trend for the east and the long range, with a ridge somewhere here across the west. Let's take a look at the European AI model as well to just kind of get an idea of this tropical activity. And we do still have a lot of storm signals here from this model in the Gulf here and then off the southeast, so watch this very closely. Meanwhile, we have a very active MDR, which is short for Main Development Region there, offshore of Africa, in between Africa and the Caribbean. So all of these areas are going to be areas that we're really watching for the time being. There's that system that moves from the Gulf up into the southeast and then off the east coast, so we see that occur. And then really we don't have much in the way of activity near the United States except for a couple of areas of concern in that MDR that we're watching very closely. And this is how they all kind of start. Typically this model, and from what I can tell, it's only been one hurricane season where we've had this. It's hard to say what we're going to see happen here. You know, sometimes this model will get it wrong, and within these 360 hours, we will have more development than what this shows. So definitely don't take this as a sign that we're safe for the next, 2 to 3 weeks, because I absolutely think that there will be more activity than what this model is indicating currently. Now, the total precipitation on the GFS model indicates that we have a massive surge, especially in the eastern states and eastern areas of Canada, especially here across the central, and then throughout the southeast, and very much so across this area near the Gulf, where we have highly above average precipitation, indicated here by this long range kind of precipitation anomalies. We can see that these areas in particular are above average, and definitely as you move across that kind of Gulf area, northern Gulf, highly above average here, and definitely could see some tropical development in there. This is a key indicator that there could be potential because of how much moisture is going to be sitting there for a long time. I have to think that there's a good chance we see something pop off in there. Now, as we take a look here at the temperature pattern, let's take it kind of day by day. We see warmth prevailing through this week for the most part. Here's Friday, Saturday, Sunday the 1st, and this is really your first sign at cold in the east. And one thing that we have going for it is this warmth out west. This is called a positive PNA, and this forces the cold air to move south and eastward. We do see that occurring here. Already some cooler air across the east. Let's see it take place. Here's a pretty key frame. This is the 2nd into the 3rd, and we have highly above or below average temperatures for New Mexico, Texas, into a lot of the east, and this is substantial anomalies compared to normal in the greens. We're talking 10 to 15 degrees below what's normal, so that is a huge departure from typical, obviously. We see this one kind of come to an end as we get a brief warm-up, but another even more major cooldown follows it for around the 8th, 9th, 10th time frame here. Look at this massive cooldown. Once again, you folks down there in Texas seeing more cold air perhaps across the plains. This is in the long range. We're taking it with a grain of salt, but these models have been very consistently showing this, and I will continue to show you guys what the models are showing. Let's take a look here at the long range temperature guidance, and we see this kind of brief warm up here for the 28th through 2nd, but once we move to the 1st through 6th of September, this is the look. Very cool across a lot of the central and eastern states here with that warmth out west. So again, right on par with the GFS model. As we keep going, we see that cooldown kind of come to an end, and then we get another one here on this model for the 24th through the 29th, and then into the beginning of October here. This is the 3rd through the 8th of October. Very cool compared to normal. So many periods of colder air over the next month or so, which is more than typical, I would say. We're getting a lot of cool air here over the coming pattern. Here is the previous 10 days, just in case you're curious. So this is that cool air mass that we forecasted weeks out successfully, and it did take place. So you saw very pleasant September-like temperatures, maybe even October for these areas, and as the lows were down into the low 50s, even upper 40s for some folks. So definitely pretty cold compared to normal. And here's the past 30 days, so basically the entirety of August plus a couple of days of July thrown in there. And you can see right now we are on pace to see a below average August overall for these areas, and then also for many folks across the west. Down there in New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, and a bit of Montana, on the other hand, it has been above average. I am acknowledging that. I've seen your comments. Texas has been boiling, and even throughout some of the Gulf Coast here, this area in particular has been the warmest area around the nation, but a majority of the states are actually below normal, so pretty cool for August for most folks. Now here's the National Hurricane Center. Again, they are indicating some chance of tropical development actually from the MDR here between the Caribbean and Africa, and this is currently at a 0% chance over the next 48 hours, so this is more of a long-range threat. But over the next 7 days overall, we do have a 20% chance of development as of now. Typically, they always start as a 20% chance or lower, even 10% at times, and they increase from there. We don't typically see them, show it initially anything higher than that. They like to start with lower percentages and work their way up. So we're seeing the beginning of that now. Either it'll stay at a low risk and then kind of fizzle away, or we'll see it begin to increase. Either way, we'll be uploading every single day, and you guys can keep up to date with this here, and we will show you guys daily what the National Hurricane Center is thinking as far as this tropical potential. Keep in mind, we are approaching the peak of hurricane season, so all of this is of utmost importance right now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out Prestige Weather again in the description and pinned comment down below. Be sure to subscribe. We do upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.